Welcome to the channel, guys. Today I've got Bendy, I've got Mel. Welcome. Thank you for coming along.
Thanks for having us.
No worries, appreciate it. So, paleo nuts, tell me about it.
Where do we begin?
Where do you begin?
Well, I suppose it began from our health journeys. We both had some strange health journeys that we had to overcome, and we did, and it kind of sparked this enthusiasm to tell the world what we did to overcome our health elements, and then we just shared that love, really.
Yes, share it, yeah.
Paleo nutter, I suppose, because we are both from London.
Okay.
We're a bit nutty.
Yeah.
I think the play on words as well was paleo. A lot of people dismiss paleo, thought we were all lunatics who don't eat this and don't eat that. So there's a little bit of self-parody there.
Yes.
And in London, a nutter is someone who's mental. And we're mental about food and spreading that love.
Yeah.
Spreading the word and saying that you can be mid-50s and still live a really healthy life and probably be fitter and healthier than you were in your 20s if you want to.
Yes, yeah. I did read on your page about the iceberg recipe, the iceberg food, where the food when you were growing up was very kind of treats and lollipops.
Iceland, yeah.
Icing Generation, yes.
Just for those who don't know, we're originally from England, obviously from our accents, but we've been in Australia for 11 years. Iceland is a shop in the UK that started in the 1970s, and it sells frozen food.
Okay.
Packet to oven to plate food.
Yes.
And it started a whole generation. So we coined the Icing Generation because we grew up in that. Our mums and dads thought this is great because food could be packet in the microwave, and it changed the way that nutrition was and stopped the way that people were creating home-cooked food from scratch.
Yeah.
And we did have home-cooked food, but then all of a sudden, why would you go to when you could go to Iceland and just even get your chocolate eclairs, your Sunday treats for a big family tea? You still had your family gatherings, but it was easy just out of a packet.
Everything you needed in one shop.
Absolutely.
Frozen. Yeah, ease of use.
And obviously we've seen the world just go from this Iceland kind of store where we envisioned it as kids to it's just everywhere. Everywhere is the same now.
Yeah. You've all done every supermarket arm, and really most of the centralised in the supermarket are just full of processed packet food.
Oh yes, definitely, yeah.
So we just share the word, if it's in a packet, basically don't touch it.
Yep.
Go back to eating real foods, go back to cooking, and getting into the kitchen. So.
Yes. I watched a film a little while ago. It's called That Sugar. And had that Australian actor in it. He was talking about how
Gamma.
Yes, and if you go into a grocery store, take a sharp left, and all the fruit and veg, that's probably all you want to be doing. Eating, because everything else is packaged and processed.
We worked with Damon. We actually put on a production at Melbourne University with Damon. We flew him over from Sydney and we showed the movie, and they did a Q&A with him afterwards.
Yes.
And presented it. He's a very, very clever man.
Yeah.
And if people could just do two things, if they took out, or say three things, wheat, sugar, and dairy from their life, if they've got health issues, and then just took a step back and see how they felt after a few years. I think that would make a dramatic change to the way people.
Yep. So do you look at you still happy with carbohydrates in the paleo diet, or is carbohydrates kind of as like an energy sapping sort of?
We try. There's a lot of misinformation out there with a keto diet and a paleo diet and a low carb, high fat diet.
Yes.
We try and live a paleo to us means eating from as close to the farm as you can.
Yep, right.
Ethically treating animals.
Yes.
So the animals have a great natural life, eat what they're supposed to eat, and have one bad day.
Yes.
That's how we look at it. And we try and eat as close to the farm as possible. But we try and keep our carbohydrates pretty low, but we do that naturally because we don't really eat potatoes, we don't really eat many below ground vegetables, we don't eat things like rice and pasta and wheat.
Yep, okay.
So our carbohydrates essentially come from those vegetables. However, saying that, because I love baking and cooking and still wanting to bring those family gatherings back into the home, I have designed a lot of recipes that kind of mimic those really unhealthy treats, and they should be just treats.
Yes.
But you can swap them out for a much healthier version, and all of my recipes will add in some really good solid nutrition or some gut boosting element to the ingredients.
Yes. Well, actually, I think I've heard that before, that the social experience, if you're trying to juice, or you're trying to, and then you're not allowing yourself to have a family meal, it's kind of detrimental. And then you're looking at the juicing that's like giving you health. It's kind of like now has a negative connotation to it, because it's not allowing you to have food with your friends or try new things. So you've got to kind of, ease it into normal day.
And Bendy said before about cutting those 3 things out, but I think from a paleonata's belief system is, well, what can you put back in? Or what foods have you never eaten before that you can actually introduce into your diet, as opposed to be thinking about, I've got to cut this out if I want to be healthy. Well, hang on a minute, I bet there's many foods out there that we still haven't even tried that will benefit our health, but we can be adding into our diet instead of having to think about what we're taking in.
And it changes the attitude because you're adding things in and you're more happy about it. Yeah, no, definitely. I actually, for myself, when I had a health issue, I did the Alkaline diets.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and someone came to me, someone who I trusted, and told me about the Alkaline diet, and I kind of had 2 paths where I could go. And I trusted the person, and I said, look, let's give this a go. And I was quite shocked, to be honest, surprised. I was 18, 19 at the time. And, just finishing school, you've got, your perspective on life is very kind of narrow, or you think you know what you know, all that sort of stuff. And I had this health scare, and I had to do the juicing, and it just totally blew my mind open.
And did you find that you walk down one corridor and a door opened, and then you walk down another corridor and another door opened, and you learn more as you go on?
Exactly. Yeah.
That's what we find. We find that because we also believe in a low toxic lifestyle as well, so we try and remove chemicals and things that can be harmful to us. That a lot of people don't know about, things like regular cleaning products, regular washing powders.
Yes.
Personal care products,
Toothpaste that if you turn it over and look on the main brand toothpaste, it says do not swallow.
Yeah, exactly.
It starts to make your brain tick.
Yeah, so you start looking a bit more out.
Yeah, exactly.
So even though we say paleo and paleonata, there are many shades of paleo, and you've got to find which one works for you.
Exactly. Yeah.
And also, I think, looking at the whole lifestyle.
Yeah, holistic approach.
Not just the food.
I think when you go down that path, I know for myself, you start having natural toothpaste that doesn't have fluoride, these sorts of things.
That's right.
You start looking at alkaline water and different sort of things.
You start looking a little bit. We have things like filters in our showers. So we have filtered water to take out some of the chlorine and things that you find in tap water.
Yes.
But we also have them in our showers. So because, hold on a minute, if I'm drinking it, aren't I breathing that in or absorbing this chlorine through the steam?
Yes.
So it's little things like that. You can make massive changes through slight tweaks.
Yeah, and you don't have to, and for the viewers, people out there, you don't have to know everything at the start or do everything at the start. As you go along, you slowly add in, I need to change my toothpaste, I need to think about this.
Absolutely. 1%. Think, what 1% thing can you do to change your lifestyle or your family's lifestyle? It doesn't have to be huge. It could be one day just saying we're going to actually try to get maybe 3 or 4 different colours of foods on our plate, for example, or even 4 coloured vegetables on our plate.
And that makes it fun.
Introduce something new that I've never eaten. Let's try and eat beef heart. I've never tried to eat beef heart. Let's try and use it as chicken. People don't buy things like that anymore because they don't buy it for. They only want to buy lean muscle meats. But the things that our grandparents and great-grandparents were eating, like liver and kidneys and stuff like that, are really nutritious.
Yes.
So reintroduce something introduce something you've never eaten before.
And that's a great way of how you learn. You learn when you're passionate about something, or if you're interested about it. If you enjoy your job, if you're interested or passionate, that sort of thing. So you're going to learn how to be healthy if you're interested in it.
And I think the education as well. So if you're interested in a particular part of the lifestyle, start there and then educate yourself about that. Because like Bendy said, it opens up so many different doors and so many different routes that it will take you, and hopefully eventually you'll be living this lifestyle that comes back to the same root core
that they were living centuries ago, pretty much. Finding our way back to there.
Ultimately, what we want to do, a lot of people give the argument and they say that people nowadays are living much longer than they did because of advances in medical science, and that's very true. But when you actually analyse the data, people are living longer, but they're living in old people's homes. They might not have full function of what they're eating, their lifestyle. I'd like to drop dead healthy. That's how I am.
Yes.
So sort of surviving, thriving. So make sure the food you're putting inside your body, the care products you're putting on your skin is helping you thrive and not survive.
Yeah, definitely. And that's I think I've also heard people say towards the end of their life they want to go to a deer might go when it's grazing, and then the last few days of its life it sits down and then it passes on, rather than a 10-year tribulation of health ups and downs. I think that's,
and when you look in nature as well, human beings and the animals that we look after are the only species on the planet that need help to regulate their weight.
Yeah.
If you think about in nature, you look at an elephant or a deer or an antelope, they're not overweight.
Yeah.
They have this innate natural way of maintaining their body weight to drop to health, and
Yes.
they drop dead healthy.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they're eating what
They're eating what they're just
nature's
eating.
supplied for
Yeah.
them, and we don't. We've got this Frankenfurter food that we've
modern
invented,
Yes.
and it's not real food.
And they're actually smart at the end of the day. Yeah, they're just doing what's the natural process.
Exactly.
It's interesting you say about living longer, because I went to Peru and learned about the people there, and when we listened to this tour guide talking, she was saying how her father, who's 75, plays soccer still, runs around playing soccer, kicks the ball, and they were saying that there's DNA research from the skulls of some of the Peruvian people from years ago, and they lived to 120 years old, and they had long lives, and they basically lived in the high altitude of the land,
So the blue zones, and there's huge studies going on with the blue zones, and these are these pockets of and people living how they used to live hundreds of years ago.
And there's a couple of places in, so of course Sicily, there's a couple of places in Greece, Japan, where people are, they have that longevity, but not only do they have that longevity and live long lives, they live long, healthy lives, active lives.
Yeah.
And some of that is because we've even seen there's lots of research into aged care homes where people in their 80s are given exercise routines and they're lifting small weights. They're just doing something like, and they still improve.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
you can still improve your longevity at any age.
Yeah, exercise battles dementia.
Absolutely.
Elements like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So how do you find all this knowledge that you have? How do you find, because you've got children, how do you find that generation accepting or trying to teach them or trying to tell them about it? Is it a challenge?
It is a challenge because the modern world is set up so much with everything's instant media now, as we know, with everything social media. Advertising is in someone's face 24/7.
Yes.
Whereas when I was a kid, you had 3 channels on the television and you went off at 9 o'clock and you had to sleep. So it's much harder for kids nowadays, I think, with that social pressure. But you've got to sow seeds. All we do, we look at ourselves as, because I was very, very sick, very overweight, and life was not pleasant. And I look now and I feel really great and I love getting up every morning.
Yes.
So what we do is live by example. When people come to us, we introduce them to new foods, we hope they like what we do, and most people come back again and again and again because they like it. So we see ourselves as just throwing out seeds. Now, as you know, some seeds will grow and thrive and some don't, and some you need to nurture. And that's how we see ourselves.
Yes, definitely. And you've got recipe, like book that you're working on, or recipes, so you try and make it easy for people to, because recipes are hard to find, and what do I do, what don't I add, these sorts of things.
And being a primary school teacher for over 10 years now, seeing what is in people's lunch boxes, if I can help the mum and the children get back in the kitchen and, connect, have some fun at the weekends or the evenings, and actually put together some really beautiful, wholesome foods that the kids are really happy to take into their lunch boxes back at school.
Yeah.
And if some of them, it is a little treat, it's better than the packaged, food they're getting in the supermarket now.
Yeah. And I think you've cracked it there as well with having fun. Yeah. It's so good to we're losing skills. Not many kids nowadays can knit, sew a button on, change a tyre, start a lawnmower, or cook a meal.
Yes.
And that's really sad.
Yeah.
We're losing those skills that came from grandparents and taught through generations, where you have multi-generational families.
Yes.
I don't know if some of that is because I'm a migrant, I live in a different country, so we've had mass migration of people living all over the world and changing. So maybe when you grew up in a village in Greece, your auntie, your uncle, and your sisters and your brothers all lived in the same village, and you had the village brought you up.
Yes.
But we've lost a lot of that.
Yeah.
And we're losing a lot of those skills. So we try to tell people that one of the things a lot of people say to us, the first thing they say is, I haven't got enough time.
Yeah.
And we call bullshit and say, you have got enough time, but your priorities are different.
Yes.
And you need to change your priorities if you want to really achieve wellness.
Yeah.
So there's lots to it.
Yeah. What would you say that would be like a challenge that you had, or like a moment where you kind of went, all right, this is what I need to do, something that was your growing point, and at the time obviously it was maybe some difficult to overcome, and what were the lessons that you sourced from, or maybe something your parents taught you, or something that you gravitated to that helped you overcome that challenge and go on your journey towards this?
I think as we changed, at points through our journey, I think we wanted to do too much too soon, and take on too many things.
Yep.
And I think taking that step back and going back to that 1%, and once you've mastered that, once you have maybe introduced those 4 or 5 different vegetables to your meal every day, and that doesn't become hard anymore, because it's going to be hard because you're going to be changing everything that you're used to.
Yes.
So I think introducing things slowly, and then introducing something else afterwards. So, and I think it has opened our hearts and minds to go back and look at how we were brought up, and the things that maybe things we had forgotten that we did. We grew tomatoes in the backyard with our grandparents, or the walks we did after dinner. Who goes for a walk nowadays?
Yes.
A lot of people I know do,
Yeah.
but maybe not enough people.
Yeah.
Because we either go to our games or we switch on the TV.
Yeah.
So getting back out in nature
And I think
and
you've
connecting.
hit on the nail on the head there as well. Some of the things that we grew up with. We grew up traditionally with celebrating life's events with sugar.
Yes.
So if I did well at school, my parents, and I'm not putting my parents down because they didn't know any better.
Yeah.
That's how
Was
they
the way.
would reward us with sugar.
Yes.
There's some lollies, there's some something. We go to school, we do well in the running race, we got given a bag of lollies.
Yeah.
We go to birthday parties, we had cakes.
Exactly. You even eat dinner, and then it's like, can I have a treat now? I've eaten my
Absolutely,
dinner.
because I've eaten my vegetables,
Yeah.
I deserve a treat.
Yeah.
Hold on, we need to revise that, because what you're doing is there's another thing people say, let's say, people quite often say diabetes or obesity or something runs in my family. And you can switch your genes on and off.
Yeah.
And by that I mean, if you have 2 twins, take it at birth, and one was given to a family that didn't smoke, didn't drink, exercised, had mindfulness, didn't watch a lot of television, read, sang, learned musical instruments, ate an organic diet and grew their own vegetables. The other twin goes to live with a family who didn't celebrate those things, maybe smoked cigarettes, maybe drank to excess.
Goes to Iceland.
Yes. Yeah.
Not
Those
country.
twins have got the same DNA. They've got the same genes.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's the environment.
But everybody knows those twins are going to look completely different in 30 years.
Yeah.
So you can switch your genes on and off. You might be predisposed to certain diseases, that happens. Stuff like that happens and we can't do anything about it, but we can turn the genes on and off.
Yes.
And we can do that with lifestyle.
Yeah, definitely. Well, on that note, what do you guys have what are you looking forward to in the coming months, year, what projects you're working on?
We've got lots. I've written my book.
Yes.
My book's called The Story So Far. That's being published as we speak, so
Yes.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to telling people that, listen, you can be in your 40s, really overweight, suffer from something that's really, really horrible like Crohn's disease, and you mustn't necessarily believe all the doctors all the time. You really need to embrace everything around you, your lifestyle. Your lifestyle is a form of jigsaws.
Yeah.
It could be sleep, it could be what you eat, what you drink, how you deal with stress, all of those things.
Yes. Your thoughts.
Yeah, so it tells my story where I grew up. I had a really normal English upbringing, loving family who celebrated life with sugar, and then how I changed, why I changed, and what happened.
Yeah.
And then Mel's got the cookbook coming out, which I'm really excited about.
Yes. Tell us more about that.
So I just really wanted to capture. I've asked lots of people that if I could, what's your favourite dinner, lunch, treat? If I could change that so you enjoy it just as much,
Yep.
but healthy, would you swap it over? And they said yes. For example, last Christmas, I said to my children, what is it you miss about Christmases growing up? And our son Callum said, oh, I really miss those tin of Scottish shortbread biscuits.
Yes, I know
So I
that.
went in the kitchen and I made a healthier version.
Yeah.
So now we've added that tradition in, and it's not something we will eat all year round,
Yeah.
but again, we've added that tradition in that he connects with Christmas. So I think I've taken that kind of stance from what are people going to, because people say to us all the time, well, I can't do what you do. Why? We just eat real food. Oh, because I can't give up this or I can't give up that. Oh, hang on a minute then. What if I can make a really healthier version of something you can't give up at this stage? Because we know later on when they start changing their lifestyle, they start changing and their gut flora changes and they're not craving all that sugar and carbohydrates.
Yeah.
We know that it will become literally just a treat,
Yes.
but it's still there and it's still they're still holding on to something that they've grown up with, or that there's something
Emotional
they can have,
connection.
that emotional
Yeah.
connection with their families. for holidays and birthdays and all those type of things. So I think that's where I started it from, and now even through that period, my journey has now come through with, you know, I really want to think about the lunch boxes, how easy it is to get real food on the table.
Swap it over.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be fancy.
Yes.
So I'm really working on as well putting in lots of recipes for children who have allergies.
Yes.
You know, so at
Taking out
school,
food colouring.
so not just the food colouring, but people who have like nut allergies, egg allergies. So I've done a whole range of recipes where children can have a pizza, for example, without the dairy, without the egg, without the nuts.
Yeah.
I still think they're getting a treat, and it's delicious.
Yeah.
It's got to be delicious. It's got to have the wow factor.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's where we're trying.
Definitely. All right. Well, where can my audience find out more about you guys? Where can they follow you and?
Okay. Well, our main website is Mel's Baby. It's paleonutter.com.
Yes.
We've got Facebook and Instagram pages. We've got a fairly big following on Facebook.
Yep. Paleo Nutter as well.
Paleo Nutter. Yep. We also we've both become health coaches. I'm a certified primal health coach. We've studied in nutrition and stuff.
And I'm a functional medicine health coach, studied at the Institute of Functional Medicine in America. So we run healthcoachaustralia.com as well.
Okay.
So we do one-on-one coaching, we do group coaching, and I think as well we also want to get out there in the community and show people how they can swap their toxic lives and change their environment to a clean environment for them to live, grow and thrive in. So we're going to be doing some workshops. We use Young Living essential oils, which we have just found amazing to help us through our journey to change everything.
Just on that, can I stop you there? Because I work in a particularly macho industry. I have done for 30 years. I'm a bloke. I used to be real heavy beer drinker, usual things, love my football,
Yeah.
And I probably turned into a bit of an old hippie. And when Mel first started got us into this lifestyle, which she did, I became well. I lost 30 kilos. I wear skinny jeans at 53.
Yeah.
You know, all these silly things.
There's a goal.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but what happened was I cannot believe how things like essential oils have completely changed my life, because I would have looked at it and thought, what?
Yeah.
From a bloke's perspective.
Yes.
If I get an insect bite now, out of the garden, mosquito
We stick some peppermint and lavender on.
I wouldn't even think about
We're not
getting
putting
something
toxic
from
chemicals.
a pharmacy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't possess pharmaceuticals within the house. We don't have Panadol in the house. If you've got a headache, which I don't really get, but the kids occasionally get a headache.
Drink water.
Drink water or some peppermint oil.
Yeah.
And we've replaced so many things in our life with essential oils that it's just freaked me out.
Yeah.
Again, going back to walking down the corridor, one door opens and another door opens.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's been exciting.
So on that note, I'm doing a herbalist course, aromatherapy course, and just really wanting to put as many tools in my toolbox to help as many people as we can. So I think that's where we are going. We're just trying to get as much information out there and trying to spark the why, and get people to go and educate themselves and seek further what brings them interest in going forward to a healthier lifestyle.
Perfect.
One of it we've got on recently with this lady called Kristen Cornell, who's a very famous author in the low carbohydrate sort of world. And there's a doctor called Dr. Azim Malhotra, who's an Anglo-Indian doctor who's a cardiologist who embraces a low carbohydrate paleo style lifestyle. He's written a book called The POP Diet, which really looks into the true Mediterranean diet, how it gets health.
Yes.
And he's coming to Australia on a tour, and I'm MC at the Perth event on the 16th of March. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Brilliant. I might have to find out more about that after.
Come along. I'd love to see you there.
Perfect. Thank you, Bendy. Thank you, Mel, for coming along, and thank you for sharing your story and sharing all your knowledge. And because you shared all that, we're going to give you a little meal to take away.
Marvellous.
So a turmeric wrap.
Beautiful.
So you can enjoy that.
Thank you very much indeed. Cheers.
No worries.
Thanks for having us.
Thank
That's
you.
okay.
Cheers.
It's great.
Cheers. See you guys.